Hey everyone, I want to thank you for jumping back on and taking the time to watch my video. I promised Angie Locke and all the other nationals that I would create a video and tutorial for you to rewatch, and if you have any questions you can feel free to message me on any of my social media platforms, or you can contact me or get in contact with me through Angie Locke. So I'm going to create a flawless face look today. I'm going to kind of go through all the steps and the process on how you can complete that in very little time with only using Mary Kay products. If you have any questions, again, feel free to message me. I want to hop right in and start talking about skincare and the importance of proper usage and finding out what proper product set is for your skin type. So first things first, I personally love the Time-Wise Miracle set. I also use our Moisture Renewing Gel Mask about 2 times a week, and I also use our Clay Mask 1 time a week, depending on how my skin is acting up that week. The other things that I want to also talk about with the skincare is it's so important to try what different skincare brands and sets that we have to make sure that you're finding the correct one that is suitable for your skin type. The other thing that I want to talk about is proper moisturization before you put your makeup on. I think that's something that's really neglected in cosmetics and skincare. Is the moisturization is kind of like left out all the time, because most people think that if they have oily skin they don't need moisturizer, or if they have super dry skin they kind of go overkill on the moisturizer and maybe on the wrong type of moisturizer. So let's get right into this. I'm going to show you a couple of my favorite moisturizers. I really love the gel and the cream. There's 2 different ones. There's the oil-free hydrating gel, and this one is the, let's see, intense moisturizing cream. This one is more suitable for dry skin and more mature skin. This one is more suitable for like combination oily and for more youthful skin. I feel like this one has way more of a light filling, and it's not so heavy like the cream. So this is going to be my go-to product. I already cleansed my face and prepped everything. I'm going to go in with my product and I'll show you kind of how I'm doing that and how I apply it. Okay, so I use, I'm just going to use a brush like this, and you can use very little. It's about that much product on the tip of my brush. I like to use my hand, the back of my hand, as like a palette. I just feel like it applies better. Actually, let me pin up my hair real quickly. My hair looks crazy. Oh well. It's serving its purpose. It's okay. Okay, so I'm going to get into the skincare. So this is going to be the oil-free hydrating gel, and this just gets put all over my entire face, and I'm going to blend it out. It gives you a really nice glow. I also like to add, we used to have, they were called illuminating drops years ago, and I love to mix some kind of like a bronzer or illuminating drop with this product. I think it gives your skin a really healthy glow, even more than what the product does. I think it looks so good. Okay, so just a very light layer all over the entire face, and then I'm going to let it set. Okay, and then after you do your moisturization, you're going to come in with our primer. Some people like it, other people don't. I personally think it's a really good product, and it's super light. I also love that it has 15 SPF, which is really good. I'm all about your sunscreen. Protection is really important for your skin. Of course, you know, most people think that SPF clogs our pores. I think it depends on the product, and it depends on the quality of product. So I use about a pea-size amount of primer, and I'm going to use the same brush because this has still a little bit of moisturizer, and I'm just going to apply this, and instead of like rubbing, I'm patting it into my skin. And this is just a really thin layer. Primer is so important for the length of time that your foundation is going to be on your face. It helps increase the wear time. So it helps with creasing. It helps with, if you have like oily skin, from it separating. It's really good. The primer is an amazing product, and like I said, it does have SPF, so it helps protect your skin while it's doing its job. Okay, so I'm almost done with that. And what I love about Mary Kay products is all the products that you use, they last a really long time. If you are well seasoned in Mary Kay, you'll realize, you'll probably already know this, but if you're a new consultant, you will come to find that these products last you a very long time, which is great because for the price range and the quality, you will build a really solid customer base. When I was a really active sales director, that was my number one product that I sold, which was skincare sets. Okay, so I started out with this product. Then I started with my primer. Now I'm going to kind of give you some tips and tricks on our foundation matching. So we have our luminous wear, we have matte, and we have CC cream. I know we have a couple other products, but these are like my 3 favorite foundations that I personally use on my clients and on myself. So I kind of want to show you a quick way on how I match and how I teach my consultants how to match if they are brand new and maybe not comfortable. So I always tell my consultants to challenge themselves on how to match foundation. So you're going to pick an ivory, a beige, and a bronze color. So looking at my skin, I'm going to kind of let you look at my skin. What do you think? What color do you think I am? Do you think I'm going to be super light and ivory? Am I going to be like in the middle of the road, beige, or am I going to be towards the darker end, bronze? Think about it, answer the question yourself, and then see how well you did. So I'm going to grab a little bit of bronze, and I got the lightest color of bronze, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to do kind of a swatch. I'm going to do a blob on my hand of each color. So this one's bronze. This is the color right here. So it doesn't look that much darker. I'm going to do a beige. And this one's kind of like in the middle. Okay, that one seems light. It does seem light, but if you look, my arms and hands are a little bit darker than my face and neck. So looking at this color, it's a closer match than the bronze because my face and my neck are not that dark. My hands are, but my face and my neck aren't. Now let's go ahead and go in with the ivory. And this one also is kind of in the middle because I know I'm definitely not a light ivory. I'm probably mid to high ivories. So we have ivory, beige, and bronze. And so this is kind of a good training. This is a good way to train yourself and teach yourself how to match your foundations. So I'm going to go in with the same brush, and I'm going to use just the slightest amount here on my face. And you can already see it is way too light. It's making my skin look, it's a little light. Then we're going to go next to it with the beige color. And I know you can already see. So if you look at my skin, ivory is still, you can see how light it is. The beige pretty much disappeared. And now I'm going to go in with the bronze right above that, and you're going to see how this one is super noticeable and it's not the right color. So basically, when you are practicing foundation matching, you want to pick 3 colors, one of the beige, one of the bronze, and one of the ivory, to see what, kind of challenge yourself and test yourself to see how far off you are. So off of looking at this is the ivory, super light. Beige pretty much went away, and then the bronze is kind of showing a lot more. What do you think my color is? Do you think I am a bronze W100? Do you think I'm a beige C110 or an ivory N160? Okay, so after looking at all these colors, I'm going to tell you right away, I'm a beige. Another question you can ask your customers or your consultants that you're training is if they tan or they burn. Typically, if they burn, they are going to be in the ivory family. If they burn and then tan or just tan, that's going to be your beige colors. If they are super dark, and you can tell, you know, whether they're African American or Hispanic, those usually are going to be in the bronze, either dark beige to light bronze. Okay, so I'm going to go in with the beige, and I'm just going to put a little bit of product. Now it seems like a lot, but I put a blob here, and look how far this is going. So what I like to do is I like to just put a couple dots kind of throughout my face. And this is quick. Okay, this is quick makeup. This is like I'm in the car and I'm going. So I'm not going to do anything super crazy. Let me get my sponge. Don't judge my sponge. It is filthy. This is my personal sponge that my kid likes to get a hold of. Okay, so I'm just going to blend. And this is just a super light layer. What I like about the Mary Kay foundation, it is buildable coverage. I have used pretty much every foundation brand that you could think of. I've used super high-end, I've used drugstore, I've used more direct sales like Mary Kay, and nothing compares to my Mary Kay foundation. This is my tried and true product that I will always go back to. Okay, so I'm just going to blend this in super lightly. And something I tell all of my consultants when, you know, I've worked with training is not to be so aggressive with the skin. You know, push the product in, be gentle. And I like the fact that this foundation, it oxidizes, so it will, you know, it's going to settle in your skin. It plumps up your skin. I really think that this is one of the best foundations I've tried in all the years of doing makeup and skin. Just put a little bit above the top of my eyelid. I have birthmarks on both my eyes, so if I do not cover them, it is kind of hard to do a very simple eye look because I look like I have purple underneath my eyes. Okay. So very simple, and I still have. So I'm going to show you. I put a blob on the back of my hand, and this is how much I have left. So that product went a really long way. I know that's a crime. I'm wasting this. But I want to show you how far this product goes and how little you have to use for a quick look. Okay, so what I like to do is after I put my foundation on, I'm going to go in with our Perfecting Concealer. I use Deep Ivory. Now, I know people have asked me, like, how do you know what color of concealer to use with your foundation? And it just all depends with, one, playing with the product and seeing what you're wanting to go for. So if you're super dark, I would say stick to the beige to bronze concealer. If you're beige like me, you could go from dark ivory into the beige depending on what color you are. If you're ivory, of course, you're going to stick to the lighter ivories. So I like to put one dot here, one dot here, and I like to put one on the outer corner very lightly, a little bit on my chin, the bridge of my nose, and this just gives the color that I need. So that is where I put my concealer. I'm going to go back in with my sponge, and I use it still with the foundation because it's going to blend a lot better. So I just push the product in, and I don't want to go too far. And you can already see it's kind of brightening up my eyes. It takes the tired mom look away. Perfect. And this kind of goes along because the next thing we're going to work on is contouring, a very simple contouring technique where it doesn't take you hours to get ready. You know, you can do this in like 5 to 10 minutes if you're not talking. So just want to show you that real quickly. Okay, that's it. Now we're going to go in with a setting powder. So I love, this one is our older one, but I use our colored powders. I do not personally use, use our translucent powder unless it's like for touch-ups. I just personally think it sits in lines way worse than the colored foundation powder. So I use very little. I dip it into the product just like this, and I tap all the excess off because you do not want to have a brown spot on your face. So same thing with figuring out your powder foundation. You're just having to kind of play around with the color. So I'm going to start with my under eye area very lightly. And the reason why we start in those areas is because we did conceal them and we want to make sure that they're not going to crease, because that is one of the #1 areas that starts to crease throughout the day. So all I do now is just kind of drag the product down throughout my face, and I use very minimal product. I do not use a lot because, like I said, a little product goes a long way, and I don't want it to be super heavy since we are doing a very quick look. Okay. And if you notice, I'm using the brush in a steepling motion and I'm pushing the product in. I'm not pushing it away and rubbing it out. Okay, so that is done. If you're starting to look, my body matches. So that's how I want to keep it super natural. I don't want it to look like I have a fine line right here. I also don't want it to be super light or super dark, because if you do match the wrong color foundation in a picture, you're going to notice when the flash is on, you're either going to be super white or you're going to be super dark, and you can tell the difference from your face to your neck. Okay, so after we do that, we are going to work on my brows, and I really love our brow products. I think right now, recently, they just released a brow set. I'm really excited to try it out. I actually have one coming in soon, so I will be checking it out and giving my honest opinion and recommendation on proper usage. So I love to use a spoolie for my brows, and I'm going to use, let's see, I thought I had it right here. I do. I have the Brunette Brow Pencil. That is my favorite pencil. It goes on so smooth and it's very easy to use. So I'm going to use my spoolie just to comb my brows into place. I have a lot thicker eyebrows now. I went through that horrible 90s phase and went through super thin brows. So we're going to do very light and natural. We don't want to do super dark. So I kind of use it like a pencil, and I'm going to use it very lightly, little light strokes. And this is, like I said, this is quick makeup. This is not anything too dramatic. And I'm just going to so lightly fill in throughout my brow. Just like that. I'm gonna take my spoolie back and just comb it. And this, like I said, this is like quick. This is not going to be the super duper brow tutorial. So just the lightest strokes. They call them like a feather stroke. Okay. And I'm doing this all in my camera, so if something is slightly off, don't judge me. Okay. And I'll do some cleanup after that. Okay, so after the brow product is on, I like to go back in with my concealer, and I'm just going to plop three little dots, just like that. You can use your finger or you can use a brush, your choice. I am going to use a brush real quickly And I'm just going to line underneath and clean up my brow just a little bit to define them a little bit more. That's going to give you a quick brow cleanup without having to overly fill them and line them. Just like that. Okay, all right, now contouring. We're gonna go into a quick contour. So I personally like using, and do not judge my palette, this is like my personal palette. So this is the palette that I like to use. I kind of use a combo of the lighter and the darker contour. So I'm going to go in with a little brush, and I like to tap off the excess. I know some people like to take it farther down, some people like to keep it up. It all depends on your face shape. So what I like to do is I like to start around here and put the color there. And you want to do it right. You don't want to do it below your cheekbone. You want to do it right above. So what I like to do is I start here and then I blend gently outwards and upwards. The reason why you do that is if you go too far forward, it drags your face down. So keeping it high up and into the hairline is going to give you a nice lifted look. Add a little bit more color because I feel like right now my face is a little washed out. I used to make the joke all the time when I was teaching consultants that when you first put your foundation on, you look a little embalmed and you have to put the life back in. So that's how I put on just the lightest contour, very simple. Of course, you know, there's other ways, there's baking, there's all kinds of other ways of doing contour, but this is like quick makeup. So I like to keep it up in the hairline and blend. So again, we don't want to take all the color down here because all that's going to do is enhance areas that you don't like. That maybe seem a little rounder. I have a very round face. Even before I had children, I just always had a super round face. Okay, so I take a little bit of this color, this lighter contour shade, and I'm just going to dust it along the sides of my nose. And that gives it just a quick lift. Go back and push the product in. Okay, and that's it. That's it for contour. Let's do, I'm gonna brush a little bit of this lighter pink up on the top onto my cheeks. Give me a little bit of life back. Like I said, just keep it above the cheekbone and you want to blend it up and out. Just lifts everything up, gives it a nice color. Okay, all right, that is it for cheeks. Now I'm going to go in with some eye colors because this is a super fast, natural look. There are a couple options that you can do. I personally like to use this lighter contour color because it just helps tie everything in. You also can use, we have tons and tons of eyeshadow colors. Do not judge my palette. My 5-year-old likes to play with it, so a lot of dugout colors. I'm going to show you how to use the contour shade as a quick eyeshadow. I know there's some women that we can customize palettes where they have this color and they use it for their shadow. I'm one of those people. So I'm going to take this lighter shade and I'm going to start here at the outer corner. And I'm going to kind of show you like a guide. I like to, if I'm doing super simple, a simple makeup look, I put these little dots here, and then I'm just going to blend out from there. So I like to take my brush in a feather-like stroke, and you're just going to blend up and out and soften that line. It lifts your eye, it's super natural, but it serves its purpose. It does the trick. Very, very natural. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll go back in with this color, the brush that I use a little bit of color along my nose, and I'm going to go underneath my eye. I don't think the black eyeshadow or black eyeliner is very flattering. It's, you know, it closes your eyes instead of making your eyes look open. So I like to use just a little bit of soft shadow. I go back in and I blend to make sure everything is softened. Perfect. Okay, that is done. I'm not going to do anything else. That's super, super natural. Now I'm going to go on with lips and mascara. I'm going to use Fanorama. This is just going to give my lashes a little bit of something. And my lashes right now are like so straight. And I think I need to get a new one of these. I'm gonna do one coat of this, and I'm gonna do one coat of our waterproof. This is like scraping the bottom of the barrel. Okay, I'm gonna do one more layer. I'm going to use my waterproof. And you can do the slightest amount on the lower lash line. I don't do very much because I don't want it to weigh down my natural look. Okay. All right, the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do some quick lip care. My Burt's Bees. My lips are dry. So for something like this, I would use one of our lip glosses. These are my two favorite colors. Let's see if I can even read these. I'm gonna have to look these up, and then I'll have to share them. If you like them, I can always message you what they are, but my stickers are kind of rubbed off. And I like to mix up these two. One is like more like nude, and one is more like a dusty rose. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set my face with our setting spray. I like to shake it up. And that is it. So that is something, this is basically a flawless face that I like to do. It's a dash out the door look. It's super simple, super easy to do. It looks great. It's not heavy. And like I said, all the products I used are Mary Kay, so I'm going to go through them again. So I use this as moisturizer. I used my primer. I used our Matte Wear foundation. Where did my Matte Wear go? Right here. I used our concealer, setting powder. I used our brow pencil, which is one of my favorite. I can't rave about this anymore. The contouring I used our palette for not only the contour shade, but also my eyes. My cheek color is up here. As far as my lip colors, I used a combo of these two lip glosses, and I finished it off with our setting spray. If you girls have any questions or would like to learn any more tips and tricks, I would love to help you. If you have any questions, definitely DM me, and I hope to talk to you guys soon. Bye.